Hi, my name is Michael Hart. I am going to be explaining my lesson plan. Um, Basically, what I did was obviously the reading content area, and as well the English language arts area, specifically writing. And I later um, discovered that this could also be tailored for like a social studies class. I'm looking at grades K through 8. Uh, the, the the topic of the lesson is genre. So basically, I was going to look at the different kinds of genres, um, and um, have them um, basically start out telling me about what is genre at the start, and then go from there. Basically, what I'm looking at in terms of academic language would be like the word genre, and then breaking it down to specific kinds like poetry, prose, narrative, biography, um, and have them define those words with my help at first. Um, but that's what I would probably do in terms of academic language, and we would go through that throughout the lesson. Um, this, in addition to understanding the genre topic in general, we're going to look at different examples as a class. We're going to look at examples of like poetry, prose, narrative, um, and perform like a genre study on each, which is breaking down a piece of literature into smaller forms so we can understand the meanings, um, and the story better. And that's what I'm planning on doing there. There's also with special kinds of students like ELL students, I would probably incorporate uh, pictures and ways to like hint at the academic language that is going to come in forms of vocabulary words. Um, this this concept would allow them to see a picture and not just a word in a language that they really don't understand yet or are still trying to comprehend. Um, and in addition, I would probably allow ELL students to use a translator. That way they can translate words into their native language. Um, Originally, so that they can make a connection easier without having to learn a whole new language. Um, there's the unmotivated students. I would really probe them with questions, but preferencing the additional questions I would ask them, I would also allow them to write about things that they found interesting. Because the summative assessment that I'm using, I'm going to have them write a piece of their own by choosing a specific genre that they want to use. Um, and the gifted students, I would allow them to, and this is for the whole class, but gifted students especially because they want the extra challenge, I would allow them to pick an additional genre, and it would have them writing two pieces for me, um, but they could, but the additional piece would be for extra credit. The breakdown for my lesson, the introduction would be starting the KWL chart, the knowledge, the background knowledge would be used in terms of helping me understand what they know about genre prior to the class that day. And this would take about 7 minutes. And then we would play a Go Fish game, basically matching vocabulary with the definition. This also would take probably about 7 minutes, but it would be the word on one card and the definition on another. And after we got done with the vocabulary game, basically, we would then embark on the PowerPoint slides. Basically, one slide per word. Like there would be a slide for poetry and then maybe some pictures to go along with famous poems or something like that as we go over specific examples of the poetry. In addition, I would probably look at the rest of the vocabulary words in my PowerPoint slides and be able to give like certain students like on IEPs or section 504s copies of the PowerPoint slides or guided notes. That way they are focused on the lesson and not the note-taking process. And that way they know what to use down the road when it comes time for assignments. A formative assessment that I was going to use would be the reader's notebook. Basically, throughout the class, I would have the students use this notebook to write down ideas that came to mind when we were going through pieces of literature like narratives, biographies, or whatnot. So when I came around to conference with them to see if they were on the same page as I was intending them to be with me, we could clear up any misconceptions or errors in their thinking or processing, and help them to learn best with their learning style, but be able to keep up with the class. And of course, with students with IEPs or whatever, I would do my best to figure out their accommodations that they need, what supports, and classroom management. I'm big on nonverbal communication, and I think nonverbal communication and raising my hand and encouraging the class to do the same until we all have our hands raised for quiet, so we can move throughout the class efficiently and productively. Groups would probably be done in a heterogeneous way, taking in consideration the content and the context of the class and the student population, combining ability levels and so that we're learning collaboratively and successfully. And the physical accommodations, if the student's IEP or Section 504 plan requires them to sit in a certain place in the room, I would probably put them up towards the front so that I can accommodate their needs in whatever way I can. And that is really it. There's room for adaptations and adjustments in this lesson plan, depending on the grade level. Obviously, K through 8, that's pretty broad. A third grader is not going to have the same depth as an 8th grader will, and I'm able to make those adjustments. And that's really about it. The purpose of all this is depth of knowledge and to enhance vocabulary skills. And I'm done. Thank you.